This is Derby. This was Derby, a town built on tin. The area was first surveyed in the 1850s, though it would seem that's all this place would ever become. But in the 1870s, the Kruszka brothers discovered a profitable amount of tin amongst the granite rock in the hills. The brothers quickly opened a mine so that they could give their families a future. The town Brothers' Home was created from the discovery made by the two brothers. By the time of the late 1800s, Brothers' Home was famous and renamed by the government to Derby in 1885. Visitors from all over the world were coming. Derby became one of the richest tin mines in the world. Engineers came from abroad. Enticed by the newfound fortune in the hills, they built a 600-metre tunnel through the granite rock, a 48-kilometre water race which flowed from the head of the Ringarooma River. The engineers brought elevated dams into life that could store millions of litres of water each. The mine was renamed from the Brothers Mine to the Breesis Mine and were producing more than 120 tonnes of tin per month. The mining idea was to have water flowing down the hillsides at high speeds, hitting massive mining hoses with enough pressure to erode the hillsides to the valuable tin underneath, which sounds interesting and pretty tedious. By 1929, Derby was one of the most successful rural towns in the country, with a population of over 3,000, many of which were of a Chinese descent. The town had a school, a hospital, a shop, blacksmiths, hotels, sporting clubs, workshops, a bank, a courthouse, a butcher shop and a factory, as well as one of the richest tin mines in the world. It was destined that Derby would eventually run out of tin, but this fate would never eventuate in the booming town. The downfall of Derby came sooner than the remaining quantities of tin would ever be depleted. The same year that Derby was the envy of all of rural Australia, it soon became nothing more than a population drowning in a problem of their own creation. In April 1929, heavy rainstorms hit across the northeast of the state, and heavy rainfall caused the Breesis Dam on the Cascade River to burst. Over 113 million litres of water was released. This event caused 14 people to lose their lives and brought an immediate closure to all mining operations. After years of work, the mine reopened in 1934, though the output of tin was disappointing compared to the last century. In 1948, the mine closed for the final time and the population plummeted from over 3,000 to just 173. The town soon faded into a place that people simply stopped at on their way to the east coast. Over the years, the main 125-metre deep mine hole filled with water and became what is now known as Lake Derby. In the early 2010s, a consultant's report called Mountain Bike Tourism Potential in Northern Tasmania proposed with that a lot of work, Northern Tasmania had potential to be a national destination. The local Dorset Council leaped at the idea, and in 2015, 25 kilometres of mountain bike trail were opened for the cost of $4 million. The decision was a gamble, purely being based on a consultant's report and the premise, build and they will come. This decision, though, would pay off, but the town simply wasn't ready for it. Most of the businesses weren't properly up and running. There was one Airbnb and a single place to get food, but that only worked when they decided to open. Many of the residents at Derby were retired, and not many wanted to subdivide their land or open up a business. Most of them also had little interest in mountain biking, so most of them sold up. Because of the mountain bike trails, property values skyrocketed, and these prices funded the move to Launceston, Scottsdale or the East Coast. A house that was once worth $115,000 in 2014 was worth well over $550,000 by 2019. A new problem arose with the trails, and that was housing the workers that built and maintained the trails. Most of the houses which sold became short-term rentals or holiday homes at $150 per night. The other problem was most of the work was seasonal apart from a core group of people. From a town where most houses were vacant, Derby had created a seasonal housing crisis. Whilst around 60% of the properties sold in Derby were bought by Tasmanians, there was a large portion bought from interstate. These houses were not only sold for record prices, but most of them needed plenty of work to bring them into the modern era. Local tradies were run off their feet. Every second house needed a new roof, deck, kitchen or bathroom or complete renovation. The demand for tradies and landscapers brought more people to live in the area, which of course brought more money. The mountain biking boom also brought attention to another big industry in the Derby area, native logging. At this stage there was no restrictions on the logging companies, clearing land as little as 50 metres away from the trails. With around 200 signatures from local businesses on an open letter to the Tasmanian government about native logging in the area, mountain biking has exposed the beauty of those forests. A world-class destination can stay there alongside all these natural assets. The trails are now protected under new ruling. In 2017, Derby hosted the World Enduro Series. This broke the global market, and Derby was a spectacle not only for the trails, but also for the experience the town and its characters gave. Derby has since hosted the event twice more in 2019 and 2023. Derby is much larger today with over 125 kilometres of trails in its network. It has a mix of trails for all skill levels and riding styles, riding through ancient myrtle beech forest with nearly every tree covered in moss, down granite rock slabs and long flowy and technical descents. The mining history of Derby is not forgotten, with names of trails like Devil Wolf, Dam Busters and Crushkers, and you can ride through the tunnel built by the engineers over 100 years ago. Whilst Derby may have changed a lot in the last 150 years, the charm that the town gave off has always remained the same. Thanks very much for watching the video. Now if you're interested in Derby or mountain biking, there's a Derby video coming out very soon, so make sure you subscribe for that. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.